Hey, welcome back to the channel. I'm Tom, your host here for the Kult of Athena YouTube channel. This video is on a sword comparison of two Gladius. We have the mains Gladius, and we also have the Pommel Gladius. They are obviously both Gladius. That's already a comparison in itself. Let's take a look at some specs, up close looks, and a little bit of compare and contrast of which one you might want to add to your sword collection. Now we looked at some more technical specs on the mains Gladius and also the Pommel Gladius. I did some movement with my shield. This is obviously not a Roman shield. This is a 15-inch buckler, but principally it's a shield. So train with that. Also train with these separately with and without the shield on cut and also on thrust. These are not sharp at all, which is fine. They could be sharp for me. I don't really mind. But if you did want to add one of these to your collection and get a sharpening service, you can absolutely do that at kultofathena.com. Let's take a look at some movement and also some more practical specs and practical compares and contrasts of these two Gladius. Let's take a look. All right, biggest similarities and differences between the mains Gladius and the Pommel Gladius. Pommel shape. Pommel shape's a big deal. Let's talk about some specifics to the Gladius, because this probably would have been used with the shield, right? So I don't have a full-size Roman shield, but I was training with a buckler, so you'll see in the video that the mains Gladius, that oversized pommel is really going to be there to lock your hand in, to decrease fatigue, and also help with pulling the sword out. The downfall of that is when you go into cut, which is probably why it went mains Gladius and a Pommel Gladius. Like if you're on thrust, whether you have a smaller buckler like this, or you have a round shield where you're thrusting low, thrusting over the top and to the side, and you're cutting, when you cut on that reverse line right there, your hand slides. So I don't care if you say that you're gonna hold a hammer grip through that cut, you can't do it with power because you wrist lock yourself. So don't tell me in the comments that, oh, you're just supposed to hold that perfectly. No, dude, if you gotta do damage, you wanna let that thing fly. So that's a big difference, is the pommel. And it being a longer blade, sure, you still got hacks. You're primarily gonna be thrust with a large shield or a small shield. Now we go to the Pommel one. Obviously now with the circular one, doesn't seem like a big deal, but when you actually throw these things around with speed and power, things change. It's not theory anymore. So when you're thrusting, obviously the thrust high, thrust low, everything here, but you're coming over the top on that reverse line, that pommel is allowing you to keep a full grip on the weapon, and it's not trying to like pull it out of your hand because it's circular. So that's a big difference. The other one too, on the speed of transition from cut and thrust, this being wider, sure, you've got more hacking power. I could see definitely a lot of benefit and stability of grip with this as well, especially if you're just gonna be in a line formation and thrusting primarily anyway with very little cut. Sure, this has its benefits. Thing to mention too is the point of balance. So point of balance on the mains, when this thing is actually flying, right? You can like kind of just do this to try to feel it out. That's great, but you gotta actually throw this thing with some power to actually know what the point of balance feels like. So on thrust, it's very stable, and that's because you feel that through this right angle of the heel of the hand, which is why the handle is designed like that. Multiple reasons why. That grip is open. So when you start throwing this with actual force, it's not secured. That's really what it's not secured. So you're gonna be pretty much into a hammer grip, which is not a bad thing, especially because you're not gonna be doing a bunch of silly different manipulations with a Gladius. It's not designed for that. Now the Pompey one, there's more mobility. Point of balance wise, this one is way more forward. This one feels way more in a hacking type of feel. Those are the big comparisons, similarities and differences for the mains Gladius and also the Pompey Gladius. It really comes down to the pommel shape, the width of the blade, and then we look at really what it really comes down to all weaponry is personal preference. So there you have it for the breakdown of the mains Gladius and the Pompey Gladius. To pick either of these up, click the link in the description below this video. As always, subscribe to the channel, give this video a thumbs up, and share it with your friends, your fellow sword enthusiasts. Again, I'm Tom, your host here for Kult of Athena's YouTube channel, and I'll see you in the next one.